anything crazy.
I get
That
it.
will be the first 2 seconds of the stream, by the way.
I'm definitely gonna mute myself.
Probably a good idea.
Hi.
Alright, we're just gonna be tours around Dortugal while we wait. Oh, Evis is in the group now.
Hell yeah.
Wants to feel like
Start
one of us.
start a mount train. That'd be
No,
fun.
man. Everybody except for Ando would get on. That's mean.
Mm.
What you don't have to pick that mount. It could be any mount.
Hold up. It was never said we had to be on WoW for this chat.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm doing.
I'm not
classics
even
like
logged in.
on mount.
What cutting, man?
I'm playing a completely different game.
Alright, we're RP
As long as
walking
it's not
on a mount.
OS
Let's
RS.
go.
That's a good mount.
All right. Couple minutes we'll start, and I'm starting right on time. Just don't want to waste anyone else's time.
Don't worry, Atreus. We're happy to waste your time.
Yeah, I know you are. With your random freaking
You never answered my
points you
question.
send me. Dude, get the hell out of you with the freaking what is it? What is that meme you sent me earlier?
What about Kefri?
Just
Abby, look, I got the Zuin mount.
It looks very pretty.
Yeah. I felt like honor bound to buy it because I'm alone. So, and I was afraid they're going to randomly remove it, and then I would
I'm
never be
doing
able to get it.
the classic one now, actually.
The classic one is really nice. I got the package where you get like the Shaw Tiger and the Shaw Cloud Serpent.
Pockets, what server are you on for
How
classic?
Evis is just walking.
Fairly now.
Same.
I feel like he's kind of gaining on me. Like
He is
I'm not
gaining
actually
on you.
gonna say
Your
no.
mount is
I'm
slower
just
than
gonna
him walking.
That mastery.
that DH mastery.
Calm down, Evis.
Aw,
Too much
Blanchie.
spinach.
Last night, me and my friend were just having a discussion, and he was like gushing about how awesome the Blanchie mount is, and it's the only one he ever uses.
I love Blanchy. Oh, do we have a random joining our train? Let's go.
Hell yeah.
They're not slow walking though. This step every couple seconds.
Well, look,
That's
even an
funny.
NPC.
We are 1 minute past 5.
all right. Good.
Alright,
I was waiting for Critias to finish his.
So I want to point out, Atreus,
Yes.
that all of our melee have one brain cell and they share them because the only people that are joining me are my melee.
Lemmings. Oh my god. All right, I guess I'll direct our conversation to our range DPS since they do everything.
Huh?
So I'll start by I wanted to quickly give a synopsis of performance for this last year. I think there's a few folks may have not been as excited as they should have been. I think our performance was overall an average performance. It wasn't like some bosses we did better than others, but we didn't drop significantly for any of the bosses. The only boss that we were below the average performance for the majority of guilds was Sprocket, and that was during the time that our raid leader was having surgery.
Can I just say that I wasn't excited for any of it because I wasn't here?
Well, when are you excited, Somsky? Right?
Fair
I'm
point.
going to
I'll
sleep.
shut up.
Weren't we also missing
Sit
main
down.
tanks for multiple weeks on Prague or multiple nights on Prague too?
Sorry,
I think
say
that was also
say so?
wasn't Sprocket when we were also like wasn't Seb out for a week or something during Sprocket too?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like a lot of discrepancies during that boss, so it's like, and we still managed to kill it relatively quickly, so I wouldn't be disappointed in the least. I think this tier also broke a few guilds, and it wasn't. I don't think it was because of difficulty. I think there was like other factors that may have played in, but overall, I'm not dissatisfied with the guild's performance as a team. I think we did well considering we also had swaps in officer positions during the tier, and that plays major things in performance as a team, right? So I won't dwell too much on that. I just wanted to make sure I touch on it just so folks, know if you want the direct statistics of how we performed, you can talk to me later and I can send them to you. I think I've said that before as well, but anyway, if that was a concern for you, the goal for this guild, I want to reiterate, is gaining or getting CE at a good pace, but the target is CE. The target is not Hall of Fame. The target is not also not getting CE. So our target has been consistent. We've been consistently reaching that goal in I don't even know how many years, but it's something that we are capable of doing while maintaining that environment that is not as stressful for most. So our expectations are fairly minimal, I would say. For most guilds, we provide you with everything from like consumable related. We provide you all of the things that you need for the raid. All we expect is for you to show up on time, prepared, and I'm going to emphasize that because I'm going to come back to it. There's some folks have deviated away from the concept of being prepared for raid. Like a good chunk of our raiders, most of you guys have come from higher performing raid teams, and shifting that mentality into a 2-day environment, you've maybe lost track of what preparedness means in showing up for raid. But that is something that we are, as an officer corps, we're going to be trying to enforce a little more, but not to the point where we're taking away from the fun, relaxed nature of a 2-day environment. But again, remember, CE focused. So what is it? Each of you can reflect on what CE means to you. If it, I can tell you that showing up, being absolutely clueless on what mechanics mean for bosses, that is not a CE raider. And that is something we're going to be trying to keep an eye on moving forward. I guess the other thing that's more obvious is the new officer composition. So I'll just reiterate the rules just so you guys, everybody is aware of them and has an idea. So I'm obviously the GM, Abby raid leader. Part of raid leader, again, I'm going to emphasize this because some people, there's been instances where this has been an open discussion. Like during raid, Abby gets the first and final say. If it's not a discussion, it's not you're going to suggest your strategies during raid time and try to change things on the fly to him or whatever it is. Abby's the raid leader. You have a suggestion. That's not to stop you from talking or approaching officers and being like, hey, this can be improved by the following. We have a strategy team. We welcome people in it. Abby does, or will be for the harder bosses, doing strategy sessions prior to prog for fights. Like, we give you plenty of opportunity to give your feedback. That's being said, that doesn't mean your feedback, it needs to happen during our 5.5 hours a week raid time. Like, just that time, anytime you bringing things forward during that time confuses other people and may cause us to deviate away from the allocated strategy and confuse and suck time and drain resources that it shouldn't be doing. Brandon is his strategy officer. Like, that's, you know, again, if you have ideas and things that come with the analysis, whether it's performance and whatnot, Brandon, this tier has straight up developed a bot that tracks and analyzes performance on a fight-by-fight basis. Those that are in the strategy team see the bot's input. So believe it or not, if you are someone that is messing up mechanics, that bot will tattletale on you pretty quickly. So we know the majority of the things that happen when they happen, thanks to that. And we also have logs and we also have eyes. So just keep that in mind before you feel an urge or need to point someone out. It was him that did this. Like, we don't, doesn't help anything. There is a reason why we don't, as an officer corps, we don't try to place blame or whatever. Again, it's part of the whole nature of the environment. Like, what is that going to do? Is it going to present a learning thing? Then let's engage it. If it's not, if just pointing someone and putting the blame on someone not going to do anything, then there is zero reason to do it. If you have something to share, or if you feel like someone's performance is something that is glaring and you needs to be brought to the surface, bring it to an officer, put it in your feedback channel, let us know your thoughts instead of jumping on Discord and hopping on other people, because there are often things that as officers we are aware of that are happening in the background that you may not be aware of, and it just could trigger things and things are just get messy. So I'm speaking about this as the person that deals with the messy afterwards. You'll save me so much more time than I actually put by just following those simple things. Just be in that space, the raid space. Be respectful, mindful of the officers, the officer positions. Seb stepped into that position of being the wingman for literally every officer. So that's realistically his position. He's going to be assisting Abby. If Abby's gone, he's going to be the primary for raid leading. So if Abby's not here, you're looking to Seb. If, you know, and that Abby not being absent doesn't mean it's a free-for-all for anyone. If Seb asks someone to step up in some capacities, that's on Seb to do, and that's his prerogative. You don't just overstep without, because it turns into too many chefs in the kitchen kind of thing. And Anda, everyone knows, is the healing officer. So healers, she's your go-to. Does anyone have any questions about the officers and officers? I don't want this to be a me lecturing you guys kind of thing. I just I'm trying to speed through things, but also I want to give you guys opportunities to voice any questions or concerns. Okay. All right.
Ooh,
so
actually, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Something I realized. I typically, and I think a good amount of people know this, I typically take the time to go through and inspect people, like, as we're loading into the raid to make sure everybody has stuff on. Is there somebody you would like me to just go to for that, so I could just send a list and be like, please get to these people?
Send it to Seb or Brandon.
Okay.
Speaking for myself, I much prefer you to just whisper me and shame me directly.
Okay. Understood.
because
All
I
right,
don't
Pocket will
fucking
only
know
be
raid
broadcasted in Raid 1.
Yeah, so and I appreciate you bringing that forward because I know that there are some people that don't.
It's just like Vault on Tuesday. People are like, yeah.
Yeah, so it's something that maybe slipped their mind. They had a busy day at work and they just forgot about it, and just being shamed about it, publicly shamed in raid, doesn't exactly start people on the right foot, right? Like especially with new season, new tier coming out, lots of new gear, so it might be missed. Just bring it to either Brandon's attention or Seb's attention, and they'll speak to that person, let them know, or just straight up hand them the enchant or whatever it is to get it done. Right? Were there any other questions about that, or any of the officer related pieces? Okay, speaking of officer related, that's going to transition me into the loot council. So we're going to continue with the loot council for the new season. But what we decided to do is, Brandon is going to be primary for it, and is going to be his secondary as officers. We're going to stick to the 3 people thing, but in order to speed things up, we decided to take one primary person who definitely like showed that their voice, they can project their voice. And in a fair, objective manner, in whether it was season 1, one person from season 1 and one person from season 2, and then someone that overlapped. So those choices will be, so your loot council moving forward, the 3 raiders are going to be Peppo from season 1, and Wabin from season 2, and Irori, who was an officer who was now a raider. Since he'd had an overlap between both seasons, he's going to cover the as the 3rd. Is that fair, Brendan, Anda? Is that kind of what?
Mhm.
Okay. And then if there are things that folks want to add or talk to the loot council, they're going to be meeting in the near future, and they will discuss and present the rules of the loot council. I shouldn't say rules, but guidelines that they will use for season 3 in allocating gear. That way it's posted to the rest of the team and there's transparency there, and you guys know. And so it's so that it's clear, the rest of the officers, aka myself, Seb, and Abby, we do not influence the loot council in any capacity. Their decisions are their decisions. So if there's something glaring as an issue when it comes to loot, make sure you can direct your questions at us, and we can query those to the loot council, but we're not going to be trying to influence their decision making. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Atreus, I'm assuming you're covering splits and tier tokens and
Yes.
etc. later. Okay.
Yeah. Or you can. I'll just let you know once I start talking about it. I'll just give you the floor, and you can just chat about it.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure it got brought up. That's all.
Yeah. With mentioning the season, so early season, again, one of the things we're going to be expecting, and it's an expectation, and I'm going to highlight it because it creates massive stress on certain people in certain roles when it's not followed. People that are hybrid classes, aka you melee that are able to tank specifically, we really need you to step up and offer to tank. The pressure on our 2 tanks early season is stupid, and everybody, because all the DPS clearly want to get into keys and do things, and everybody hates pugging because most of the pugs suck really bad, especially early season, because it's everyone. So just do your best if you are a hybrid class to offer it, like it's, especially for the early season lower keys, be available offer to tank before you take the DPS roles. Let the pure DPS classes take those initial DPS roles before you scoop them up. And same thing goes for the hybrid classes that can heal. There are only so many healers. Early season, that's something been consistent. I'm hoping that it doesn't stay that way this season. That you guys have Invis potions on nonstop. Like, you guys need to freaking be more present. The pressure on one or two healers, that's not okay for one or two healers to carry the weight of the entire guild. And then that pushes the pressure onto the hybrids and so forth, and then it becomes a thing. Just if you're able to heal, especially if you're a primary healer, heal for keys. If you're able to tank. If that doesn't mean that you can't join a group with a main tank or a main healer, if it's there. If there's nobody filling the group, like for example, I'll just say Seb's name, for example. He was gonna say, I'm doing keys, need people to fill the spot. The spot's necessary. Give a chance, give just a beat real quick for the pure DPS to step in. If they don't step in and Seb asks a second time, that's your cue that you can take that spot. Is that fair?
I think that's fair. What I would like to add, though, is I think this is also something that could be just more clearly communicated, by the respective tanks who are making groups. You can ask in guild chat and then just say, pure DPS will get priority, just because of the fact that, a rogue doesn't have the luxury of off-speccing, as other specs do. That can also be helpful as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't fully agree with some of that, part of that, portions of that.
In what way?
Not everybody has the same amount of time available throughout the day. Not everybody has the same capacity to just jump into an off spec as well. Tanking isn't the easiest thing. It could be borderline intimidating, running routes. It's just a weird concept that oh, you're playing a class that has this, therefore you must.
This is not a you must. This is I'm not
strongly encouraged that you should because you have.
Well, sure, but here's the counter argument, which has been the case for Seb, who's been the main tank for this guild for a while. Every beginning of the season, literally every single DPS asks him to join keys.
I'm very well aware that Seb carries a lot of the weight and the burden of it. But again, I don't know what a good solution to this is, so it's kind of a shitty point to bring out, but we've had this conversation before almost every tier, and it kind of just amounts to nothing. And I feel like Seb could probably attest to that. It doesn't change anything for him. He still gets the same amount of requests. So
right.
It's I don't know.
But that's why we're trying to encourage other. If you're not comfortable tanking, just give it a shot. Give it a shot. 1 or 2. If it's absolutely horrible experience for you, I'm sure especially if we do it in a guild environment. The other day, Pocket hadn't tanked at all, and I told him, I'm literally just if it's a guild environment, trust me, it's going to be a lot easier for you to do that. Especially you'll have a diversity of players that bring different experience that with keys and knowledge that can say, hey, you can pull this pack, you can avoid this, and that's how you're going to learn. But just saying, oh, I can't do it because I can't do it, that again puts us in a funnel, right?
Tanking day one and trying to push keys up to get your vaults filled with the highest possibility isn't the same as being way the fuck over geared tanking for Gilded.
Sure, but again, you're saying it like a something. I've tanked on less geared tunes to people. I'm not saying it's I'm not saying it's like I feel like that resistance there, or the
May I say
don't know.
something? May I interject?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I think what I'm hearing is that, like, in the past there has been a trend of people who are willing to tank, can tank, have the ability to do so, hopping into groups with other tanks to the point where DPS have logged on and they've looked and they've been like, hey, those are 3 people that 100% are able to and can tank keys or heal keys for people. They are all in the same group together. And they're there for hours. So I think what is kind of being communicated is, like, if you are one of those people who are able to and willing to, like, if you're straight up not going to tank, then don't tank, right? Like, I don't think that inherently is the issue, like, from my perspective. But I think it's just to dissuade people from stacking all the players into one group when you could make 4 groups.
I get it. There's an animosity towards those people that get into the same groups, and my counter to that is I just fucking pug everything. Like,
well, yeah, and I don't know if animosity is the correct word. I'm just saying, like, in general, like, that's sort of like, I think, the tempo that Atreus is trying to, like, just talk about. We'd be like, if we have the ability to run 2 guild groups, let's try and run 2 guild groups.
Again, yeah, it's absolutely correct. Like, it's more of an invitation, I guess, is the better way to phrase that, for people to be more inclusive and try to do things that their class, their main, is capable of doing, right? Like, if it's something, as long as you're, like, I'm not going to force you at the end of it. That's why it's not like it's not a you must. I'm saying, just be mindful of this. Be mindful that pure DPS who are maining the pure DPS classes, they can't be like, I can, let me look at other options. There's just, and I'm not saying pugging is an absolute no. Like, if you are comfortable pugging and doing it, go for it. But if you are wanted, like, again, some people don't want to go that route. They may not. You might be comfortable doing it, Evis, or I know Somsky does quite a bit of them.
I would much rather be in guild groups. But again, the concept that I have a class that is capable of tanking, therefore I should lend way to the person that doesn't have that opportunity. It's weird when I spend most of my time just pugging anyways.
And
do
I think
you understand,
I would say that
like
it
the argument you made?
Like, I would say it wouldn't be you, though. Like, at least in the way I'm interpreting it, which is, like, if people do this on a regular basis and they're capable of, and I mean capable not in, like, you have the spec, but capable in as you're comfortable to do it, and you have the gear for it.
All right, so
Second.
let me just jump in from my standpoint. I think what would be super helpful is if and what we can probably leave it at is, if people are even reasonably comfortable doing some tanking or off-spec or healing during the beginning of the season, it would take a ton of weight off of some folks, me selfishly being one of them. I'm going to do my best to share the love as much as I can, but I also play during the day, and there's not, like, beyond the first couple of weeks, there's usually not a ton of people on during the day, so I'll do my best to kind of make sure I'm prioritizing main DPS roles. I'll try to do my best to communicate in guild chat when I'm getting ready to form up with what's available, and note that, like Critias said, that DPS is priority. But the couple of things that would be amazing historically within the guild and take some of the pressure off is, A, be open to those folks who are willing to step up and put some skin in the game and be like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and try and tank for the group. Be willing to allow them to do that, and be willing to join those groups. And then also, if you're one of those people on the edge, and you need help with it, holler at me, holler at Days. We'll try and do our best to kind of give you tips on what's going to kick your ass, what's not going to kick your ass, where you can pull bigger, where you kind of need to be careful, stuff like that ahead of time. And then, it'll really take a lot of the stress off of a lot of folks if it's possible. if you're absolutely uncomfortable with it, I'm not like, I personally wouldn't want you to feel like you're obligated to do it. But if you're at all interested, you know, let us know if you need help getting started with it or whatever, and we're willing to help you out with that. And it'd be a great assistance to us early on. So
I would
Yeah, and this
say,
is sorry, go.
I was
Go
just
for
gonna
it.
say, part of the main reason that I chose to go ret for this season was so that I had an off-spec again. Season 1, I tanked 91% of my keys. I didn't run them as Windwalker because of the tank thing being real. And Brandon can attest to the number of times that I turned him down anytime he pinged me in Discord and asked if I could tank a key, whether it was during the day, whether it was during the evening. I would like to think those were very few, if any. Those were examples in the evening. The number of people who asked me during the day. I've always been open to tanking keys for people. I even, last season on my Rogue, reached out to Grim when I knew he still needed hyperthreads to bring him in on a workshop key that we had early on in the season. So I'm very open to helping, but you have to ask. That's the biggest thing I would say. I mean, I tanked a fuckload of keys season 1 when I had the class capable of it, but I can't tell you how many people I tanked for. It's probably maybe 6 or 7, like outside of the usual folks who were on during daytime keys, because people just didn't ask. So if you need that kind of help, ask, and I will do everything I can to adapt to whatever schedule you have. Not going to say it's always possible, but it's important to ask. So I think the way you put it, Seb, was very good. You know, please do everything you can to help alleviate this problem versus I know the way it may have been interpreted by some was, which I understand, was if you have an off-spec, we expect you to be playing it. That's kind of how it sounded at the very beginning, but I don't think that's the message. So you've got folks who are willing to help, but you have to reach out and ask. And reaching out on a Monday evening to say, hey, I haven't gotten any of my keys done. Can you come tank 8 keys or 4 keys for me? Very low success rate if that's the route you go. I've done it before. Again, Brandon can attest, but be mindful that people are willing to help, but that relies on you being flexible to some degree and giving them enough head notice to be helpful.
Yeah, and that just ties into. Sorry, go ahead, Evis.
I just want to say, to not sound ungrateful either, I have absolutely ran keys with Seb and also you, Prod. So like, obviously, thank you guys for that. I don't only exclusively pug. I have definitely run guild keys. So thank you guys for your duties. Your jobs. You're appreciated.
My kid laughed at.
Yeah, no,
I always laugh with duty.
I will say I completely feel what you're saying, though. As a rogue this last season, I pugged probably 70% of my keys. I ran as many as I could with guild. But also, if you're looking to pug, there are other people probably looking to pug as well. Again, it's one of those things, don't be shy. You don't need 5 people to run a key. If you're pugging and you have 2 people, that's way better than pugging with 1 by yourself. So it's a lot... there's also a lot of fun and jackassery that happens when you can just talk massive shit on the 3 people that aren't in Discord with you, whether they're in guild or not. No, just kidding. But yeah, don't be afraid.
No, 100%. And
small bands work too.
A huge part of this is, again, promoting the whole community piece of the guild. Like, you know, there are friends, family that are here in the guild as well. Just even as raiders, socializing outside of the raid environment helps with you understanding each other's personalities. I'm not expecting people to, or the thing is, it's not like a whatever for. Even when I mentioned like healers, it's not a. You have lives outside of this game. Like you're expected to manage and do whatever you need for those first. This game is like in the background, but I just do your best to be there and be available for things, whether it's whatever it is. I may have saying the expectation piece might not have been the right word to use, but again, it's the concept is to facilitate that inclusion because early part of the expectations of this guild, especially for a continuous, and some people have not met this expectation, and we will be contacting you regularly on your feedback if you're someone that's missing this, but the expectation is for you to as a minimum have 2 vault slots, which means from keys, that means at the very minimum 4 keys. Part of what I said earlier about the whole CE thing, again, 4 keys is for those that do keys. 4 keys is not asking a lot.
And for anyone who thinks Atreus is being unreasonable, so does Blizzard. They just nerfed Hunters again, so...
Wonderful.
Not surprised.
Survival's looking pretty good, though, Atreus. Survival's looking pretty good.
Domsky and Atreus, you guys are playing BM next season, not MM. That's a massive nerf.
Well, I mean, BM still got their damage reduced by 3%, so...
Yes, but
I think
it's a BM
Domsky's
season.
gonna be
Saying
devastated.
there's another spec other than BM?
Alright, sorry, Atreus, we interrupted you. Carry on.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's
Camaraderie.
Was there anybody else that wanted to share their thoughts on this topic? Because I know it's a sensitive topic. I know that it's something. I know there are people that are trying to do the things that they need to do. I'm not taking away from that. I'm just saying let's be more open, be more flexible to reduce the strain that's on Daze, that's on Seb, that's on Enda, that's on Topher, that all the things that are on your primary healers. Just and everyone needs let's just, especially early. This is mainly in the focus in early season. After the first 2 weeks, people tend to spread their wings and fly on their own. So. It's mainly those first 2 weeks that are critical for some folks. So that's all I'm inviting people to consider.
I'd like to add something.
Go for it.
I think that this season, I think we were a lot better about this as a guild. But going into season 3, especially in the first couple weeks, I would ask that if you're in circumstances where it's like a random pickup or there's not a lot of notice, or just in general, to continue using the Discord if possible, preferably, like in the Mythic Plus channel there, to form groups. Because for people like me, where everyone knows I'm the guild degen, I could be on game all the time because I'm not employed. But there are some people who can't be in game. So if you're asking in game and in guild, a lot of people are going to miss those messages. So if we could continue to just prioritize using the Mythic Plus channel to form groups, that would be super, super helpful. And I'm sure a lot of people would appreciate that.
I'll add on to that part there. If you don't have the tag Mythic Plus, put in your feedback channel that you'd like it so that you do get notified when people are pinging in there. Continue, Atreus.
Continue. Insert quarter now.
I'm just gonna add this. TLDR. Be a team player. End of discussion.
Is that what I should have just said, Abby? Just be a team player, move on?
Yeah, too many words. You use your beautiful voice in too much of a degree.
I'm gonna do a whole group with 4 healers. F y'all. We'll pug
Hell
tank.
yeah. Look, I'll be blood for you. I'll heal too.
Boom.
I really like the part that Atreus said where people who do off spec for keys this season will have priority on loot. I think that was a really good idea.
That's why I'm Windwalker in every key. So
the guild thanks you for your contribution, Seb.
Mm-hmm.
The next part. I'll give actually just one more check in. Anybody else need or want to share anything? I know we picked up like one of the biggest things that I'm excited about to see what they bring to the table are big boy M+ pushers. So they will probably have a lot of experience for people to ask, or if you have any questions or whatever, like Crayon and Fuzzy, they bring, as well as in Wobbin, he's historically been the guy that people ask questions towards. He goes hard, and from what I can tell, the two of those guys go hard. If you're someone as well that wants to be identified as, hey, you've got experience with this whole Mythic Plus thing environment, and you've got a quote-unquote expertise that you can bring to the table to help people navigate it and push quicker to get to those milestones, those M+ milestones, feel free to identify yourself in Raider discussion, and we can direct conversations or questions to you, or if you have routing or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Okay. I will move on past this. If you so for raid, part of the raid expectations, we've talked about those things, but the biggest thing that I wanted to mention is we've kind of deviated away from people showing up on time for raid. When I say on time, the new on time, well, it's not the new, it's the OG on time is 15 minutes prior to raid. If that is something that you cannot make because of whatever, like you have real life circumstances that make it impossible for you to make that time, make sure you communicate these things to us in feedback, and make it known in your feedback, not in a DM to an officer. That way it is known by all officers why you're not there. We're wanting to hold people accountable to that, because again, we're a 5.5 hour raiding guild. If we're losing 5 to 10 minutes every raid waiting on someone to log on, that is, to be 100% honest with you, that's kind of disrespectful towards everybody else, unless you have a real reason for it. Like, there's, again, communicate what's happening for you. I am not going to dictate your life. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but communicate so we know. And then we're not, like, if you're not going to be on time, we have 26 players. We can navigate without you. We can figure things out without you, so we're not holding the raid up just for that one person to show up on time. Is that fair? Does anyone have any questions or concerns about that? Okay. And then that leads me to the Abby's portion. Abby, if you want to talk about raid splits and what that's going to look like.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna trial raid splits this season. It's kind of Seb's baby for how it is going to be set up, etc. So Seb's kind of stepped in and done a ton of work with Atreus on getting kind of the best makeup for the splits as we possibly can. So thank you, Seb. That's a lot of work, and really appreciated. But one of the things that we're using it for, so I want everyone to keep this in mind, we're using it for tier sets mainly. Okay. That being said, the first 6 bosses, minus the first boss, drop every tier token in the raid outside of the Omni token off of the final boss. So plans going into this like initial week / 2 weeks, depending on how things play out, is we will be running splits on the first 6 bosses of normal. And and then swapping around people to do the second set of splits on the first 6 bosses in normal, and then we will be transitioning to heroic. Everyone should be able to be fine in the normal setting. We shouldn't have too much issue there. Gear drops lower than what we currently have equipped, so we should be kind of in a good space. However, when we move into heroic, we might hit a wall. We're gonna kind of play that as we go, right? If we make it 3 bosses, 4th boss is just a nightmare on heroic. We can't get any further. We're not gonna sit there and waste time trying to get a split done. We'll switch over, get the rest of the team caught up to where we're at, and then we're gonna merge and just go through the rest of the fights. That being said, please remember this is strictly for tier sets. We're gonna prioritize everyone getting their 2-piece. Unless tuning is absolutely redonkulous, that has yet to be like distributed. But we'll kind of finalize a end goal for what the splits will mean and what the loot will mean with the loot council as we like enter into that for the first week. So everyone should be fully aware of what's going on, etc. The splits are set up in a way to hopefully get an even distribution of mains and alts into both, as well as kind of splitting up the tier tokens. So that way we don't have, all the dreadful people in on the same raid split and, completely screw everyone over. So please come prepared. Please know both of your roles pretty well. I think a lot of people have the same role, just a different class, but some people do switch between melee and range. Just make sure that you come prepared for that. And I will be doing that initial presentation on all of the bosses coming up, so please come to that as well next week. But I think that covers all the split stuff. Does anyone have any questions or concerns with that? Or Seb, if you have more to add that you would like, please do.
I'm just taking one last glance over the sheet, and then I'll do a sneak preview real quick.
Okay.
Atreus just asked if we could do that, and we'll be sharing this out shortly. Okay, yeah, it's fine to share this. Let me stream the right freaking screen.
I did have a question. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'll wait till after this.
I have no idea what that looks like for you guys, so let me know if it's...
It's fine. It's a little small, but it's fine.
No, it's a good size, Seb. It's a very good size.
I'm clipping all.
Thanks,
Average.
It's average, yeah.
That's what I'm looking for, man. Some people
It's average, yeah.
To some people, average is huge.
More than big enough, Seb. More than big enough to get the job done. Don't worry
Thanks.
about
You noticed it was there? Is that what we...
it.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, why A and M?
Alt and
Alt
main.
main.
Oh, fair. I was like, A and B? What?
Yeah, Seb, do you want to just explain all the different things?
Yeah. So all players, raid 1, we have it distributed as well as we can to maintain buffs and get a reasonable distribution of mains to alts. Raid 2, you'll notice, so there's a breakdown over here of like roles and stuff like that. Gear distribution by gear type and then tier token. So we have a pretty good distribution of the armor type, so nothing should really go to waste. We have a pretty good distribution as well as we can on tier tokens. The one thing that's a little bit wonky is just the main to alt ratio within raid 2 and raid 1. That's the best we could end up getting it with keeping tokens about where we want to have them. And then the other piece is that even though this raid 1 is a little bit less main heavy, a lot of the alts in that one are current season mains of people who are switching over to different classes. So should be relatively smooth on both of them. There's a lot of experience between both groups, so we're hoping that it'll be a pretty clean run for both.
I also want to point out too, we will probably, even though it's backwards, we'll probably step in with Raid 2 to start, and then switch to Raid 1 after that.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with
just to
that.
start
for
with the
obvious
I was
reasons.
about to ask to do exactly that, so fair enough.
I had a question. Just, I am happy to. I love raiding, and I would love to raid in both groups, but I only play one character this season, and so my highest eye level alt is, I think, like 640 or something, and I just don't have the time to get it geared up. Are we able to play in both groups if we want to, or is that an expectation? Or okay, so I'll be able to do.
It's the way that we have it worked out. It's not probably going to be an expectation unless we have people missing. If we do have people missing, we may have to ask people to step up and raid in both groups if they only have one character. So, but yeah, if you want extra experience in the raids on your main, all for that. So
yeah,
does that affect loot at all? Like I know it used to be
no.
An additional person won't if it reduces the size of it overall. Like if someone's missing and you put the 20th person in and they've already done it, it will. But if you put them in as the 21st,
it won't.
Roger.
Yeah.
Cool.
It sets of 5 people, so
They count as a 0.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Didn't realize that. Thank
Mhm.
Yep.
It also said we might fill the 24 with an extra person, an extra body.
Yep.
We're still
multi-boxers or multiple account people might come in, or like Cat or something like that might fill that last spot. But please try and be there for that first week if you at all can, just so that we can get this off to a smooth start.
Yeah, this is the first time we do this, so we put a lot of thought into organizing it, and we've discussed this as officers quite significantly over the last couple weeks, and we're hopeful that it will be beneficial to the team. Again, this is one of those things that's an experiment, right? If it works out well and we benefit from it, are able to walk into Mythic quicker with more people that have 4Ps sooner, then that is the win here. That is the scenario that we consider a positive. If this is going to slow us down at any point, we feel like this is slowing us down. As officers, we might just decide, cut it, merge one team, push forward, right? So just keep that in mind. Don't be it's not to discourage anyone, but the goal is here to get us on a strong footing stepping into Mythic and as quickly as possible. Because one of the things, again, not that we're pushing for Hall of Fame or whatever, but one of the things that when we look at pull count, we were right there with a lot of the teams that may have landed at a higher ranking than our guild, but they only landed at a higher ranking because we stepped into Mythic at week 3 versus then they stepped in week 1 or week 2. So that's a side effect to the win, but again, the win scenario is us just getting people their tier faster.
I got a question.
Okay.
How many weeks we thinking of doing this?
I think we posted that in the announcement to this. It's mainly targeting the first week, and at maybe the maximum the second week. It's not going to go past that.
Correct.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. Go.
I got hit up by a couple people. If you have not filled out the sheet that was posted in the Discord channel for this run, and you need to, can you hit me up, because there's been a couple people who have mentioned that they didn't fill that out that might be able to do something. So if you need to update this, can you let me know as soon as possible, please?
I had a quick clarifying question. So the plan is to do the 6 bosses. Just asking to make sure. Is one of those bosses the council boss? I don't.
It's
I don't
tier
know
boss.
what the layout.
Yep. So
It's tier
council
boss.
is tier
Oh,
boss
right.
and the boot boss. So the only thing we'll miss out on gear wise is if the trinkets are really strong off the last 2 bosses, if weapons are really strong, and the Omni token. So we'll get the majority of the strong loot out of those first 6. Thankfully.
Okay.
Yeah, the boss is optional for literally no reason.
Do we intend on doing the last 2 bosses at all? Like, do we want to do them at least once with mains?
We probably will. I think we'll see how well the split runs go. If we get 6 of 6, both heroic and normal, kind of crank it out, we'll probably go clear normal last 2 bosses, get experience on those, and then go try them on heroic. The last 2, well, Dimensius nobody really knows, but it's got a ton of mechanics, and the king boss is absolutely a clusterfuck. So we're gonna see how that plays out.
Yeah.
If we don't end up, sorry.
No, go.
If we don't end up killing them, will there be any like weekend group set up? Obviously not required, but like since they're flexible size wise, is
Yeah, we
there,
typically do.
is that something y'all do?
Yeah, we typically do like a Sunday alt raid. So when the season gets later on, people don't want to do that sort of thing. But the first couple weeks, especially before we get AOTC, we'll typically get as far as we can in heroic, and then Sunday we'll come back and try to get as far as we can. Again, not mandatory, completely optional, but most people try to make it to that just to kind of get their CE for the first week or 2, or AOTC.
AOTC.
Yeah.
And just be
No,
clear,
he
that's
was right,
at
see.
normal raid time.
Yes.
So if you want to block that off, it's usually 2 to 3 weeks that we do that, and it really depends. Like this last season, we did it a little bit less just because our stopping points where we were at were pretty good during the first couple weeks. So I think we did like a week and then didn't do it as much the next couple of weeks. But especially with us doing splits, I have a feeling that we'll probably use that a little bit more this tier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Officers, look at officer real quick and just give me a quick thumbs up or whatever, just so I know we're all on board.
Yes.
It's a weird sounding thumbs up.
Okay.
That's what my
All right,
thumbs up sounds
Abby, you
too.
can go ahead with that announcement too.
Okay. The end of this week, you need your main locked in. We're being graceful, giving people extra time. I would rather it be done sooner than this week, but I am allowing people a little bit extra time. Please, please, please make sure that you have your main locked in. Whatever you finally decide on, it will no longer be changed. I'm sorry. Like, if, they do tuning after you make your decision and you want to change mains, we will say no. So make sure you choose something that you want to play.
Well, what if they're nerfing everything I want to play?
Skill issue.
Congrats on being nerfed.
We know the
Everything you
answers to
wanna
that
play-
question regardless.
Everything you want to play is BM Hunter, so you're gonna play it.
That's not true. I've seen Somsky Survival Hunter before. It's amazing.
Oh,
And I'm pretty
dude.
sure he's going to main survival this tier. So
Well, Atreus, they nerfed rogues, so you should consider that.
They nerfed Windwalker's tier set, but then they gave us another aura buff, an 8% one at that. So I'm pretty happy.
Wait, they nerf Rogue?
Wow, 8% aura buff? That's going to be amazing while you're waiting for people to invite you to keys as a Windwalker.
Right? Right?
But yeah, please, like, if you don't want to change what you've already put in there, you don't have to say, like, yes, I'm definitively going to be this, but, like, we're going to go off of the current spreadsheet. So if you're going to change that, you have to message either in your feedback or one of us directly, preferably feedbacks for all the officers. So just keep that in mind.
Something to tie in with that and with loot, just to be absolutely clear. Alts will not be taking loot off of main raiders. That is that it's not even up for discussion. It's not even like your alts. You're it's for experience, and you're helping out the team. That's literally what you're doing with your alt. You're getting a vault slot. That's the gains you're getting for that alt, but you will not be taking gear from raiders or trials unless it's like something nobody wants.
Which definitely is not going to happen. Not the first thing.
I'm just thinking,
too, which is amazing.
Yeah. I'm just making sure that is absolutely clear so that nobody's like, "How come I am here? Why didn't I get this?" Like if you're on an alt, yeah. So,
Hey, Trees. With that in
Yes.
mind, can you make sure that everybody's in-game guild roles are up to date? If
Yes,
anybody
once
swaps teams or
everything
anything,
is-
just
100%. Once that, and I was going to talk about ready check. Was that my next point?
Okay,
Sorry.
Yeah. I was gonna say yeah. We need to bring that up. That just made me think of it.
Yeah. So ready check is something for trials. Hopefully, you've kind of got the lay of the land and understood what you need to do with it. But the expectation, I am going to be very, very clear with this. The expectation is that you have an updated weekly Droptimizer in the ready check for both. Actually, for all three in it for the first week or two. Normal, heroic, and mythic. For once we're past normal, heroic, and mythic.
I also
You
want to
can
point
change-
out post vault, not before you get whatever you want out of your vault.
Yeah.
You need to make
You're
decisions
talking about
based
in
on
feedback channel, correct?
What?
I think it means
No.
plugged into the ready check.
Into the ready check.
Yeah.
There's
How do you
a
post your
drop-down-
vault?
No. You
Oh,
don't need
you're
to post
talking
your
about
vault.
vault.
I'm saying after you get your item out of your vault, do your.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right, I was confused. Just to clarify too, because we've had these questions a lot, and loot counts has always decided. But just to confirm, when you're doing the Droptimizer, it's max upgrade rank, correct?
Correct. Gemmed, max upgrade rank, all of that.
Yeah.
Can we go further and just post those somewhere? Because I know for a fact some folks were even simming longer to get the value of Eye of Kazan, for example. So
Yeah.
just like a straight up every little setting, screenshot is fine, whatever, but just so that there's a very easy reference.
Yeah, can we have the loot council meeting set up like guidelines for that and just post them in the
Yeah,
raid
just
knowledge
do
channel?
I think in
Oh, yeah.
season 1, Avis did a similar, like a screenshot of how to set up your Droptimizer when it's capturing the parameters that you're wanting to look for. So if one of you guys can just do that same exact thing and then post it, and then we can pin it into Raider discussion, post it in Raider discussion, and we'll pin it there so people
Yeah.
can review it.
The
That
other
would
thing
be awesome.
too, the other thing too is just posting your Droptimizer is not sufficient. Every boss has a sheet where you say if you want the item, if it is best in slot, if it's a main spec upgrade, etc. Your Droptimizer will put in there how much of a DPS upgrade each item is, and it's a good tool for everyone who's on the loot council to see, how much of an actual upgrade that is.
For healers, you
I'll
guys.
step in on that real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say. And
When I pull all the healers after this, all the healers were going to go down Tiffin channel. That was one thing I was going to bring up, how I expect you guys to do it. So we can skip over healers and you can continue.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Also, any of the new people, if you're not super familiar with Ready Check or how that stuff works, hit me up and I can help walk through that.
Do we still have a guild paid for Ready Check to distribute? I don't know.
If not, I have one that I can send to people.
I want to say we do.
Wait, ready check or raid bots?
I think it means raid bots.
Raid bots, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can post mine if we need to too.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
Would
if
appreciate
you
that.
need raid bots, let us know in your feedback. I can do it. There are multiple people that are willing to share their raid bots access codes. So just let us know and we'll DM you with that information. That way, it's and again, there's for professions and whatnot. Like, you guys know the drill by now. For the new people, just make sure you post your stuff into the appropriate channel. If you're someone with professions and want to be given the appropriate whatever roles, like if you have a blacksmith, whatever it is, let me know and I can give you those allocated roles. That only popped in my mind because Days just put a thing in there and it just for whatever I've been it instantly distracts me when I see, like, it pings me as soon as someone pops something in there. So what else is there on the So we did say normal. Everyone knows what I mean when I say normal, heroic, and mythic for ready check, correct? Everyone knows that there's a drop down at the very top. I think it's on the right side of ready check that you can just select the difficulty level.
Or we could have either Atreus or Seb show that directly off, so that everybody's on the same page.
Let me do that real quick. So you go to ready check. I'm streaming, right? Yeah, okay. So the way this is gonna work, you go to the Droptimizer tab. Here's where you're gonna put in all of your Droptimizer reports, right? You put in a separate one for mythic, heroic, normal, etc., right? Then you go to your loot sheet here. It's the second tab. And right here at the top, you have a drop down for each individual difficulty, right? So you're gonna have to go into every single one of these, go to the items, say if you want them, if they're Abyss upgrade. Or Catalyst is very important as we move forward into Mythic. If you have a Catalyst charge and you will be using that item for a Catalyst, please put it there, just to make sure that people know that that is an item that you need for a tier upgrade, not necessarily for the item itself. If it is an item, so if it's a helm, etc., that you are going to wear outside of your tier, make sure that is put as a bested slot item. But yeah, that should cover all of that. Any questions? Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
I do have one suggestion to kind of touch or expand upon what Project was mentioning about and the rules for like running your Droptimizer. For the people handling the loot council this season, one suggestion I would like to make is, can we set the default time a little higher for like patchwork? So instead of like 5 minutes, maybe put it at 6 or 7, because 5 minutes is not like a realistic representation of the boss duration for most of Prague. It's really going to be more about 7 minutes. And for certain people, like me, for example, there are trinkets that are slow burns, and they aren't good, really. They aren't strong until the latter half of the fight. So, like, the issue that I was personally having is that, like, Eye of Kazan, for example, was under simming constantly for me, because for my spec, and I'm sure for others as well, it doesn't get strong until post 5 minutes. So it was basically saying that it was like a complete downgrade for the entire season. And I think 7 minutes or 6.5, around that range, is a more realistic representation of like a boss duration and would be more encompassing if there is like another Eye of Kazan in this season.
Yo.
You're gonna kind of hit some really weird situations in any case, though, right?
Yep, there'll be outliers on every, no matter what you set
Because
to.
like for any 1.5 minute class or any minute class, like, you know, you put it to 7 minutes, well, then that favors them, and it's going to make them look better. Like there's just always like this. I think 5 minutes was just it's the generic version. It's some fights are a little less, some fights
It's
are
the default,
more.
I think, right?
Yeah, and like everybody's going to kind of take a hit.
I get what you're saying, and if I was just making the argument of my personal sim results, that would be like I would agree with you. But I think that 7 minutes just objectively is more accurate for like boss duration, so it's more encompassing, and at least in this circumstance, it's not cutting off the viability of all trinkets that are designed that way, as opposed to like you're right though, like certain trinkets like Pacemaker are more front loaded, and you're going to get more value from them on shorter boss fights. But if the boss fights are all like 7 minutes anyways, I feel like it makes logical sense that you would sim at 7 minutes, because that's realistically.
So
would it not be better to just note that? Like, is that an acceptable middle ground?
Yeah, you could always put that in your note for your trinket, on the loot sheet. And I also think
You could
I
even
think this is a
link
point.
to a 7 minutes in the
Yeah, or like you could put it in your feedback. And yeah, that's what I was gonna say, Seb. I think the loot council needs to make a definitive decision on how they want to handle this, and then we will disperse what they would like to do, and we're just gonna all follow their guideline, just so everyone is on the same page and is doing the same thing.
Yeah, in a 3-minute class, I'd rather have that so it stacks my 2 ascendances. My 3 ascendances.
Are boss fights 3 minutes though, Zerto? Get fucked.
Well, so here's the thing, though. It's like, other than a couple bosses this tier, most boss fights were 5 or less, even on Prague.
True. There's also damage amps in a lot of these fights, like stuff you're not going to capture in Sims, right?
So I definitely agree we don't have to use, and we can talk about it as Loot Council, use 5 minutes, but I mean, 7 minutes is an out of the ordinary boss fight length.
Yeah, and you guys can discuss it and agree on something, but I do agree with what Abby said. If it's something that, like for a situation where you feel like that information is critical for the Loot Council to know, just you can always do this the drop optimizer for 5 minutes, the initial one that you put into them, or whatever the Loot Council decides. And then you can put another one in your feedback channel, and just in your note when you're saying need on an item or whatever, just say, please refer to the sim in my feedback. And the officer is going to pull that information and share it with the Loot Council. So it's a win. It presents, shows your perspective but the main thing is it needs to be a standard, is what I think Peppa was saying. It needs to be a standard that's across all of the classes. So it's not like that will shift for a class by class thing. So it's just a standard for everybody. If you feel like that's not a proper reflection for your class, then just do that suggestion or something like that. But ultimately, like I said, the Loot Council will let us know their final decision, and they can once they meet and figure those things out, we'll pin what they want or how they want things set up, and that's what everyone will be expected to follow.
We have to clean up the Loot Council channel, and we'll probably ping in there and set a time, like Atreus is saying, but we'll try and get that to you, everybody, before this coming Tuesday, what the expectations will be and what the guidelines will be.
Yeah, I'll clean up this channel like tonight. I'll remove, if you were season 2 Loot Council, I'll remove you, so don't be and then I'll put season 3 Loot Council updated season 3 council members in there.
This is
sorry,
more for Anda. But can we get a shared RCLC profile this season, so that way, like, if only one officer is in, they can handle it without being fucky.
Brandon knows how to do it. He gets to share it, because I only had Serene's profile that he sent me ages ago, and I still never added Courteous in. Mine was pretty borked.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
share mine.
I don't care whose it is, but as long as we all have the same one, that it works the same and doesn't confuse people, I think that'll be helpful.
Yeah.
Was there anything else related to loot and ready check? Okay, and ultimately, if there's a decision that you don't agree with, it happens all the time. If there's something you don't agree with, you can always just put it in your feedback channel, and we will give you share the reasoning behind it once we speak to the Loot Council. And at the end of the day, just remember, it's a game, and decisions will happen. If it's a mistake, loot will drop again. But ultimately, if you have a concern, so it's not taking up whatever space, and it's in a positive manner, share in your feedback. We'll figure out what's going on, and we'll give you the answer of how this decision happened, and that's not going to change the decision or whatever, but it could be a learning for the Loot Council as well as the officers. Remember, we're all none of us are experts that get paid to do this. Everyone is volunteering to their time and putting in their effort to do the best they can.
Oh, this is my first full tier with you guys, and I didn't have any problems with the loot. Like, I never saw something like a questionable decision or anything that made me. And I come from a guild before that where there was lots of questionable shit, so I was definitely looking for it. I think you guys handled it pretty fairly, even when I was still a tier, even when I was still a trial.
Good stuff.
All right, guys, let's not give Pocket any gear.
Listen here, Enchant Checker.
Enchant Checker. That's his new nickname, Enchant Checker.
No, he's the wee woo police.
Okay, so I will move on to the last topic here, just so we can hopefully wrap up without using up the full 3 hours. The last piece is player performance that I wanted to touch base on, and one of the goals that we have as an officer corps, again, we start off every season hoping to do better with this. But these are some of the things to be mindful of. We're going to be hopefully trying to do better by holding people accountable for their performance at raid. If you're sat, don't take that personally. You only complicate things and make it awkward for everyone. There's 26 players. Ultimately, what our decisions are to kill the boss and get things done and moving forward. If you're being sat, you're being given that space to just refocus yourself. Maybe you're having a bad night. Maybe you're whatever. You have stuff going on. If you have stuff going on in the background, and let's say it's a very stressful day for you at work, and you would rather not raid that day, let us know in your feedback channel, and we will try to accommodate that. And I say try is because if we're 26, but if we have 8 people saying, I've had a bad day at work, can I sit this one out? Then we can't exactly sit all of you out, right? So we'll do our best to accommodate people for things, but you're better off if you're having a shitty day and you're exhausted and you're barely slept. All you new parents out there, just let us know, and it's better that you sit and we bring someone with fresh eyes than you dying and attracting a negative spotlight on yourself.
Insert Atreus and Abby taking more time when they're sick.
Hey,
listen, I'm just calling them as I see them.
They're always sick, though.
They do get sick together, though.
Yeah, it's because they make out. You didn't know this?
He keeps sharing his germs. And Naoma just needs to keep him in a corner or something.
Say they're my germs, actually.
Oh God, I'm just kidding.
I work in a hospital. What do you expect?
It's bullshit. In case anyone's wondering.
The other thing I just wanted to say about performance: if you're feeling that someone is hindering our progress, we have a lot of strong-willed, opinionated folks on our team. That's okay. That's fine. But we need you guys to tame those personalities of yours a little bit. So if you feel that someone is hindering the progress of the team and isn't being sat, you can always just send us in your feedback channel a quick, hey, this is happening. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but here it is. That way it gives us an idea of maybe it's something we missed, but it puts us on our radar. We typically, most of us as officers, we're keeping an eye on Discord and we respond fairly quickly. We're either going to deal with it right away, we're going to respond to you. We could be making a different decision that doesn't line up with what you would like to see, but ultimately what we ask is for you to just be respectful of us as officers. We do our best and with the information we have to try to facilitate a positive rated environment and to help the team move forward. So if it's something that you have an absolute problem with or whatever, just what I don't want to see happen is folks going at each other in the middle of the raid. That is it's not okay. It's disrespectful to each other and it's disrespectful to everybody else and wastes everyone's time and just messes with the vibe and the environment on the team. If someone bothers you, says something that upsets you, you don't respond to it. Whatever, let us know if it's something like that and that we can handle behind the scenes. Most of you are, or some of you I should say, are pretty good about letting me know when something's on your mind. I'm okay with you doing that. Just if there's something that you feel like you need to get off your chest, DM me or put it in your feedback channel and it's going to be dealt with. I promise you that. Once things are better. That's the biggest thing. I think there were a couple instances during Prague where there were some elevated temperatures and folks just got at each other, and that's not okay. I need to emphasize that because it impacts everybody else. And this guild, the temperature of the team gets impacted on how well we do. If someone messes up the vibe, the rest of the night gets shot. And performance for everybody goes down the drain. So I'm just going to leave that there. Do any of the other officers feel like they need to share something in this regards?
I think that about covers it, in my opinion.
Same.
All right. Okay, sorry, I said that. The last thing is
imagine that you can't count.
And one more.
One more.
You're Steve Jobs.
Seriously. But announcements. Believe it or not, we don't make these announcements. Like, we have 2 announcement channels for a reason. One is guild related, one is raid related. It is absolutely imperative for you to check the raid one before raid. That is where Abby, Seb, Brandon are gonna, and even are gonna let you guys know if there's something that is important for you to know prior to showing up to raid that night. The announcement channel, we typically do general things, changes, officer changes, whatever, things that are good to FYI, things like that. But when we make announcements, we're not doing it because we just feel like we're bored and we just need to put something. They're there for you to actually know. And based on that, moving forward, every time we're going to put an announcement and we ping raiders, trials, whomever in those, it is assumed, regardless of whether you emailed or not, it is going to be assumed that you read it, understand it, and don't have a problem with it.
And if you do have a problem with it, you're reaching out in your feedback and discussing it. So.
Yes. So and based on that, like we don't want someone showing up at raid, something happens, and they're like, "But I didn't know." If it was something that was in an announcement, you knew. Like you're all grown up adults. We don't need to babysit.
I am.
We don't need.
Maybe not you, Sofsky.
Yeah, like there is no reason, and that was getting a little bit out of hand, that I was having to individually DM people to speak to them to make sure they were like, when they weren't responding to stuff. Moving forward, it's just gonna be, it's there. It's gonna be assumed that you have checked it, you know about it. All right, that was my last piece.
And one more.
I have more things I have to get to tonight, so.
Okay, go Abby. That's all you know.
No. I'm not here. Just saying. Be done.
Okay. All right. Are there other officers that need to say something before we conclude tonight? Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for taking the time tonight. We try to keep these things during raid nights. Again, Abby will be holding his strategy pre-launch thing next Tuesday. Is it Tuesday that? Yeah. So Tuesday, be here. It's going to be recorded as well. If you are not able to make it, make sure you watch it. Because
Please
he's not
communicate
going.
with us too that you're not going to be here.
Yeah. He's not going to be going into depth to explain mechanics once we get into the raid. We need to be getting things done. So if you're someone that we notice is absolutely oblivious, you will be sat. If you could get caught off guard by that, like if, I'm just letting you know that that's going to be the consequences of what will happen if you're not there or don't bother to watch the strategy session. The strategies Abby will talk about. Ultimately he's the raid lead. If he makes a call that might be slightly different when things go live, he's the raid lead. Remember that. That is his prerogative. He has the power to do that.
I will also add, there's a lot of like fucking mechanics that people are gonna have to see. So like, if you mess it up the first time, sure, that's fine. Like you have to see it to know what's going on. And also, it is all based on PTR, so things might be changed. Just keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, again, thank you guys for taking the time being here tonight. And we will see you next week.
Healers, I will steal you guys, or go down to Serene's channel for me, so that I'll take like 20 minutes of your time.
If you have any questions or whatever, feel free to hit us up with them in your feedback channels. Remember, the end of this week is the absolute deadline for anybody making last minute changes. Beyond the end of this week, you're locked in, and too bad. Okay.
Everyone have a great night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.